Welcome back to US Quidditch Cup here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are surrounded by beautiful mountains, we are surrounded by big blue sky, and we are surrounded by a lot of good Day 2 Quidditch. If you're just tuning in, we are about to see the matchup between UTSA and Rutgers. Should be a very good matchup indeed. I'm really excited for this game. I'm Matt Dwyer. I'll be commentating for you here this day. I hope you all have been following along at home. If you go to usquidditchcup.com, you can see all the scores and highlights from the weekend, see how the bracket is shaping up. I think it's very exciting. Very excited to see a couple matches later in the day, but for right now we can focus on this. UTSA starting at the left of your screen in the navy and orange. Rutgers starting at the right of your screen with the black to red gradient. UTSA, a perennial team in the Southwest, I think, have been around for a long time. I've played against them myself. Fast, hard-hitting. Rutgers, a program very storied with a lot of ups and downs. A few years ago, they weren't recognized by their university, had a lot of troubles with recruitment, and now, through the help of a friend of mine, Naresh Adala, has surged the program back to a large amount of strength. They've got a big sideline over here. I'm really excited to see what they can do today. Let's take a quick look at what these teams did yesterday to get here. Starting with UTSA in their pool, they easily defeated Vermont 225-30. They took on UNC and defeated them 145-50, and a much closer game against UVA, that is Virginia, 135-90, just edging them out. On the opposing side of things, Rutgers has been putting up similarly huge numbers. A sundering 195-10 win over Arizona State, a close one 145-110 versus Penn State, and a nail-biting match 145-130 versus Mizzou. That was extremely exciting to watch yesterday. Two high-energy, fast-paced teams going at it. So I have high hopes that this game will be very similar. With those victories, UTSA enters today as the 8th seed overall, so pretty high up there with their undefeated record. And Rutgers enters today as the 9th seed. So probably one of the most evenly matched games we will see today, at least at this stage. Unlike the morning wind and rain that we had yesterday, today is a nice 50 degrees and sunny, partial clouds. It's beautiful out here, folks. Our referee crew is getting ready on the sideline here as we are getting started. A couple other games that we're running a little behind, but we're getting ourselves situated. It looks like UTSA will be starting with bludger control and Rutgers will be starting with the quaffle. Our head referee today is Toby March, assisted by Ray Barnes and a squad from Bowling Green for the assistant referees. Referees are taking the field now. We'll get started underway shortly. And if this maybe wasn't the game you were looking for, you may be tuning into the wrong live stream. Look for the Twitch channel USQ2 if you are looking for the Pitch 2 games. And I believe these VODs will be available later, so if you want to tune in now, you can catch the other field when it becomes available on Twitch soon. Clarifying a few last-minute things about equipment to the captain or the coach of Rutgers, and I think they're clarifying the same thing to UTSA. We'll get started here momentarily. You're turning in for our earlier match. We had a very fun match between Sam Houston State and UNC. Sam Houston a little more put together, a little more complex offense. They managed to take it away from UNC, who looked like they had a chance, but unfortunately enough sloppy play denied them from moving forward in the tournament. So they're done, and Sam Houston will continue on. now the starting cadences, and we will be underway shortly here at US Quidditch Cup here in Salt Lake City. So once again, that's Rutgers attacking right to left, starting with the quaffle in the black and red kits. UTSA with bludger control, looking to be running a 2-2. That's pretty standard defensive fare these days. Rutgers spreading themselves out across the right side. That's passing around up top. That's Carey over to Kim. Back to Carey. Carey, big pass over the top. No one there. Seemed to be a miscommunication. Either the keeper was out of position or Carey was expecting something different. And now UTSA will bring it forward. Maintaining bludger control on offense. Setting up, crashing on the medium hoop. Blackwood shot over the top of the hoop, and that'll be out of bounds, and Rutgers will need to inbounds. Looks like they were very focused on crashing on that medium hoop. Rutgers didn't quite adjust very fast. Well, I think we're feeling each other out. It's first possession. Let's see how we do.
Let's go, Rutgers!
Kim bringing it up now for Rutgers. They're going to test the left side. UTSA playing some high 2-2, or pardon me. Nope, they only got one back at the hoops. As Kim looking to drive, she tries to pass, and that is behind Cole. And UTSA will recover that one. Maintaining bludger control, and Blackwood will have another crack at it. And it looks like I get to be joined by my friend Ashton. Hello.
Hello. Is it on? All right, we're good. Oh, sorry. Sick beat on that one. Whew.
So Raider will run it down the field for Rutgers. Wild throw over the head of
And
Cole.
it's going out of bounds. That's a turnover. Sorry, everybody. I just finished my matchup, and we were victorious. Matt Dwyer and I, first time a meeting of peace between two space theme teams. He of the Ohio Apollos, me of the Houston Cosmos. Coming up here pretty soon. This is interesting. UTSA attacking the 2-2 zone. Their chasers are a little far away on that one, but looks like Stewart was able to come up with that one. Oh, man. Stewart just got completely crushed off of an illegal dive, it looks like, on the back end there. I don't know if you guys could see that exchange fully. It rolled over Stewart's head off the missed catch or whatever, and then the keeper ran over to dive at the ball after Stewart missed it on his initial dive, and it hit Jay in his chest. So
I think Raiders going to have to tighten it up a little bit, tighten up that play,
especially with this.
Here.
As a person who's had this officiating crew 3 times today, you're definitely going to have to be on your P's and Q's in terms of making sure you stay on point. Blackwood's moving around here. Let's see if he goes. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's off of a penalty, so Blackwood's got to wait, and he's creeping towards Stewart a little bit to give him some help for the reset, and he just shoved him out of bounds. And it may be a reset. Oh, that's tough. And if if you're sitting at home and you're watching, that's the perfect time.
There appears to be a lot of confusion going on about what exactly is happening with this inbounding play. I don't understand, and apparently the players don't either.
And this is the first Nationals with the inbounding rules in play, and the interpretations that many people have across the country are kind of colliding here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So that's interesting. Stewart's beaten. He's going to run back here. That's tough. That was an interesting and very confusing offensive set, but we'll see what happens here.
Raider takes a sub as well, so Ing is now in at keeper for Rutgers as Kim brings it up center.
And UTSA utilizing the fact that a keeper is unbeatable inside the keeper zone. And so they've got Blackwood right there patrolling the edge as the primary ball carrier. Interesting approach from Rutgers. They're so far away from where their beaters are exchanging. Nice pass. And that's a loose ball there. Good recovery on the part of that receiver to get the ball back out to give his offense a chance. But now they're on a run here. All the balls are down. This is a no-bludger situation. Driving in, looking for it. Almost got sniped. And for some reason, Jay Stewart took that shot while in transition. But luckily, great teamwork and great hustle, kids. Remember, hustle points matter. They count just as much as the organized goals as well.
They do count as much as the organized goals, that's for sure. And
are they
let me
really going
tell
to make
you-
him tag back in off that?
Yes, they are.
This is technically a dead play. Okay, that was tough.
Well, I'm glad that they had cleanup there for UTSA, because so far in these first few possessions, all shots have been wide or low.
And once again, it is early on day 2. Everybody's a little bit sore, and it takes people's bodies react differently to soreness, especially when you're UTSA, who really runs a tight lineup overall. They've been running a tight lineup since the beginning of the season. And now we got an opportunity there. That was a really good tackle to make sure that the shooter was out of the play. But Rutgers, once again, hustle points. They're on the rebound on the backside of that play.
Carey was in the right position at the right time there. Ng took a hard shot on that one, trying to get that ball off.
And you can't coach height, kids. You cannot coach height. Just being taller than everyone else does increase your margin for error. Craig Garrison of Pegasus, who's been having a spectacular first nationals so far this season, as the head coach for UTSA, he's got these guys organized. And that's a bludger out of play. Now there's only one in play. Let's see if they can cook something up here. They're going 1.5 on the bludgers. And Blackwood with a beautiful attack. Oh, and Rutgers making the smart move, knowing that yeah, Jay Stewart went there, and I thought he went just
Stewart was wanting blood.
Yeah.
Whew, that was a quick transition goal there by Ng. That's some heads-up hustle right there.
And to be honest with you, a lot of people have commentary about the Southwest in terms of how much they don't like Southwest teams, but I'll tell you this much right now. Some people may not have liked that play, but pretty much every team in the Southwest, if you don't do that, even if you know the goal's going to go in, you get pulled out of the game. Like, you have to at least try and make an attempt on the ball.
That should be a bludger turnover here for Rutgers. Looks like they've got an advantage call.
And that ball just rolled out of bounds. They do now have control. And
She should
very
be able
smart.
to-
And this is a textbook situation over here. The AR didn't run over and inbound that bludger so that this Rutgers player could gain possession of it. But while that was happening, the Chasers were at mid-pitch, and Rutgers took advantage of the fact that Blackwood is deep, about 15 yards behind the hoops, and that took an opportunity to go and take out one of the best chasers for UTSA on this play. And whatever happens on this penalty, Blackwood is still beat, and UTSA is down to 3 chasers. And that's intentionally throwing the ball off the pitch there. That's tough.
So it'll be number 22 for UTSA.
And the quaffle is going to get turned over.
That is Havens. So they will spend a little time in the box. Quaffle turnover to Rutgers. And the bludgers should be adjudicated to Rutgers as well. There's one loose on the ground over by their hoops.
And Rutgers is doing clearly a well-coached team based off of how they reacted just a couple of possessions ago when all the bludgers were down. UTSA may have gotten that contact goal from Blackwood. It looked really cool, but the goal that Rutgers scored in transition counted for just as many points.
Absolutely. And hey, if that's how you're going to pick them up, that's how you're going to pick them up.
If you're going to go bucket for bucket, if you got the guys that are going to be able to do that, I don't know too many college teams that can stand up to a UTSA team that has about 4 or 5 MLQ players on it, And people underestimate that because they think that MLQ selects talented players. Yes, that's part of the process, but the fact that you're playing year-round Quidditch and some of the college kids that you're playing against take off the summer, those 3 months make a big difference. Those 4 months make a huge difference in terms of your skill development.
It's not even just your personal active skill development. It is your development of understanding of the game. As Ng just loses his broom, ostensibly. Okay.
A shot attempt that goes a little wide. The bludgers are completely out of ray on this one. Tahira's going to come up with it, number 42. Nice backspin from the quaffle carrier. Pass over to the right-hand side. There's nobody there. Blackwood is able to intercept that one.
Good lockdown D by UTSA there. I'm going to give credit to Rutgers there. That was good ball movement, good accurate passing. Normally you see those overthrown.
Oh man, number 44 is on fire. He might get a jersey pull here in a second, but oh man, Tahira's about to get called for back contact. There's no way that wasn't back contact. And he's off broom now. And Rutgers is on a run. They might have just turned this one into a bucket. Let's see what happens. Yep.
Ng made the smart move there.
There is.
Looks like Ross conversing with our head referee.
Yeah, this is interesting. Oh.
Unsporting conduct toward an official.
Didn't see that because there was so much action going on. And now they got to get him to come off the field. Number 77 for UTSA is one of their best back chasers out there. He is perfect for these alley-oops, and he has a great understanding of positioning there. And he's a little heated right now.
Yeah, well, I just watched Sam Houston UNC, and Sam Houston had 9 cards, and they weren't happy about that.
Yeah.
So.
When you're a Southwest team, you come to a lot of national tournaments, like for instance Crescent City Invitational. Shout out to Gumbo and the Gulf Coast Quidditch Association for putting on one of the best tournaments in the year. There were 30 different teams from
all across the country.
Yeah, all across the country. That's how we played each other earlier this season, right? And then I had my first matchup versus Philadelphia Freedom. We played them in pool play yesterday, so it was cool to see all those teams and players from all over the country. But Southwest players definitely have officiating that goes a little different. Christian Cortez is going to get called for playing through beat here. And that's tough because Christian is actually one of the best chasers and keepers for UTSA. He's been invaluable this season. And this one might be another quick turnover for Rutgers and a goal.
Yeah, off that goal, Ross still in the box, but they do get Havens back. So they're back at full strength at beater, but unfortunately Havens was not able to get into the play fast enough to block Rutgers' beater there. That's Colin Fagan, who tried to create that turnover.
And Rutgers is ready to run here. Oh, they were able to come up with something there. Looks like may have been some slight net contact, but they're still driving. Looking for an opportunity. 44 with a nice play. And they're going to call that one good. The goal ref called it good. Let's see if the head ref calls it.
Nope. Toby March called that no good. It was either wide or beat before.
Yeah, one of the two things. It looked like it flew a little bit wide, but the goal ref called it good. Once again, it's important to have eyes everywhere because angles change from different people's perspectives. Side angle is never going to work well for you when you're trying to call Quidditch goals.
Rutgers putting a lot of size on the field compared to UTSA. Look at that difference.
It rimmed out there, and they'll continue to maintain possession. That's why it's so nice to take those shots from behind the hoop. And that one's just over the top.
Both teams having a lot of trouble shooting from range right now.
And if you've been watching pitch one and pitch 2 out here, you've been seeing the hoops fall over a little bit. Believe it or not, I personally prefer that because a lot of people who have built hoops before can attest the coupling system. So basically there is a part of the base of the hoop that pops out, and you put the pole for the hoop inside of that. And that breaks all the time when bigger dudes like myself or other people are trying to dunk on it, or just guys who have a lot of explosive power, or gals who have a lot of explosive power as well. It breaks the hoop. These have a hole built into it, so you slide the pole into the actual base itself, and it makes the dissipation of the force a little bit better, and it just dislodges the hoop instead of breaking it.
I like this design better as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's sleeker. You don't have to have people who like specialize in making couplings, you know what I mean? Back up top, the 2-2 zone for Rutgers is flowing really well.
Been seeing a lot of that today so far.
That's a jersey pull. I see no hands up for advantage on that one. That was pretty obvious. And that one's out of bounds.
Yeah, big overthrown pass there, but honestly, I think that.
And he's asking for it. Ross he's asking for it. It stopped him from being able to run forward. Nice
Raider with that stutter step. Oh, gets big.
You like that impact right there. You like that. Once again, avoiding 3 tacklers on the way in.
I've been seeing, as much as I'm watching the college game, you see a lot of these longer keepers, these big noodle boys. They run out there. I mean, Raiders got a little bit of size, but you see some of these guys run out there and they're like, I'm going to run through the point defender. And then they can't. They can't do it. Raider using that lateral quickness, some agility to get around the thicker UTSA tacklers. That was some good movement right there.
40-20 is our score here, and like you said, you like to see the keepers that are out there that are willing to, 1, take contact, and 2, be able to shift around and move. Rutgers coached up by Naresh, who plays for plays for Skyline Quidditch, who, by the way, undefeated yesterday.
I saw that.
Very impressive.
UTSA, a lot of patience here. Rutgers kind of bunkering the bludgers, keeping them close to the vest here in their 2-2 zone.
And the beaters trying to work people around. Beaters trying to take out as many chases as they can to open up shots. Christian Cortez staying low, getting that pass through. There we go. That was a great read while he was under duress. If you couldn't see it, Christian had an arm across his chest, which would affect his ability to pass it, but staying strong and staying stout was able to kick that ball out and get that nice goal.
And how about that core movement from Molman there? Yeah. Twisting across 2 defenders to a moving hoop to slam it home. That was great body control.
You like to see it. You like to see it. A lot of high-level quitters we've been seeing here today. Good job kicking. that kicking that bludger well placed on that one to make sure that Rutgers has at least one bludger. Really surprised that UTSA isn't extending out, especially now that Cole is inside the keeper zone. The beaters are staying home.
But Cole's in the dead zone right there. He's not a scoring threat from that angle. I think that that's a good decision by the UTSA defense. See, now you're going to step out because he's a threat.
And nice jump of that passing lane. If you're watching Quidditch, and I'm sure if you've been watching pitch 1 and pitch 2, you've probably been seeing a lot of people intercept that pass in particular. It is a high-risk maneuver, and you have to drive in and draw defenders to you before you make that pass.
UTSA back with bludger control for the first time in a little bit.
See what they can make of it here. Rutgers with the keeper as one of the top defenders for 2-2 zone. And once again, a slightly bobbled pass. UTSA hustling hard to recover. Whoa. Oh, he must have got tap beat while he was crossing over to touch that quaffle. UTSA is going to maintain bludger control here as they're coming up on offense, as Rutgers is coming up on offense. Oh, a bobbled alley-oop and maybe a beat along with that. That's tough.
That's tough. Ing was fired up. He subbed in and just started gunning for it immediately.
And Rutgers is staying pretty tight. The aggression of their 2-2 zone is when you get past or behind the hoops there, and it forces people to make really, really tight window decisions, which is, of course, a great way to force and generate a lot of turnovers if you're a defense. Trying to work their way up. Great beat up front. They've opened up one of the hoops by taking out the hoop defender. Drive on the way. Beat coming up. Oh, he thought he deflected it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was just, I think, a misstep there by Cortez. The beaters moved into the keeper zone, blew up the middle of the defense, and then Cortez passed back to the outside. It kind of squandered the whole thing. Rutgers had a moment to reset.
And Dwyer, you can attest to this. If there's one place that you're okay with the ball getting turned over, it's behind the hoops over there. It gives your defense a chance to get back, and it makes sure that there's almost zero chance that you're going to get beat in transition because the rest of your team is in front of the ball. And trying to attack the home beater, the hoop beater there. Rutgers comes up just a little bit short, but a great vision from number 1 to come up with that goal. They're trying to say she was beat before.
Kim to Cole and back to Kim for the give and go goal. I feel like we don't see enough give and go in Quidditch.
It's because we've, and if you want to talk about philosophy, Rod, a lot of people have a bigger philosophy in terms of creating as much space as possible, right? Like the rise of box offense where there's 2 chasers up top and there's 2 down low, and you can walk to the left and the back chaser becomes the third part of the diamond, or you can walk to the right and the back chaser becomes the third part of the diamond. That spacing is so large that it's hard to just throw the ball back and forth. And we see an instance right there. They rotated the ball to the left-hand side, kicked it back. He stayed by the hoops, kicked it right back. Nobody chose to continue to drop back further and further off of the hoops, and that's how you open that up. Because a lot of people don't realize, like, they talk about this in basketball all the time. If you ever take a basketball and throw it down a court, you'll be able to outthrow pretty much any person that you can run up and down the court, right? One pass is always going to be faster than one person.
50-30 is our score now as UTSA, a scoop. They're going to go for the score. They do.
And I know it's a little detailed, and I doubt people were able to see it on camera. Christian put some backspin on that, so when it made first contact with the ground, it actually rolled towards his chaser instead of continuing to roll forward and out of play.
Molman did a great job handling that one.
Let's see what number 17 for Rutgers can do in terms of the beating game here. They're keeping an eye on number 3, the top beater for UTSA, as he has to turn to face the quaffle carrier on the right-hand side, back up top.
Number 17, Siva Beta, is definitely holding down the top of the key there, but Rutgers still content to work that right side, and now it's blown up.
That beater exchange, once again, kids, the beaters didn't have to win that one right out, right? Like the number of bludgers count stayed the same for each one of the teams. They didn't turn over any bludgers, but they got the balls on the ground. And if you have a team that's willing to have their chasers right next to their beaters, they're going to have a lot of those shot opportunities where they can drive in and find open shots. And some teams are real concerned about that. A lot of teams try and hang back a little bit further than they actually should, and they miss out on scoring opportunities.
Incredible dodge there by number 44, Colin
He's off
Fagan.
Yeah, they're gonna. He got tackled off Broom, number 77. That's why you hit hard, kids. Good job, Rutgers, on that one.
So illegal reset caused by the beat there from Colin Fagan, and so that puts Rutgers in an incredibly advantageous opportunity.
Right.
Rutgers sideline telling number 9, Henry Huerta, just run.
And he's going to have to run quick because Jay Stewart's out there, and he is quite a quick guy from Houston, Texas, by the way. Plays for UTSA from Houston, Texas. Nice try.
Oh, looking for
Nice try.
looking for that false start. Huerta took a second, yeah, and he made the good choice. Go to the side behind Stewart.
And the addition of the rule where everybody has to tag in at the center hoop has definitely changed the game in terms of how those fast breaks go and how they operate.
Blackwood back in, and Blackwood he's got a little heat under his feet there.
Great block and a beat to knock out Jay Stewart here. And looks like number 93, Rayner, who we saw score that goal a little bit earlier today. A nice one versus 3 UTSA Roadrunners on the attack. He's got the ball back in his hands. He does not skip leg day, as you can tell.
Directing his offense, this is good.
UTSA has one of their greatest players ever. We'll talk about that in a second. Nice block there. Great job affecting the shot. And Jay Stewart with the rebound. Now they're on attack here. Let's see if they can cook something up. Bradley Himes, we'll talk about what his situation is here in a second. Moving the ball back and forth. Jay Stewart and Blackwood up front. The two best chasers, in a lot of people's opinion, for UTSA. Behind the hoops. Tackled, and it affected the shot, and he may have also been beat as well. That is a bucket, and looks like, oh man, looks like Raider took a shot to the gut there when Stewart finished the shot, and now he's down. Speaking of injuries, while we take a second here, Bradley Himes actually out there. He is the current head coach for the San Antonio Soldados for Major League Quidditch this upcoming season. He, just like myself, who's the head coach of the League City Legends this upcoming season, he has tryouts next week that he has to finish up in the roster to select by Monday. But his biggest thing here for UTSA, he's a grad student, formerly of Texas State University, was a part of that long legacy of great beaters. He actually got hurt yesterday and is out here playing a little injured, you know what I mean? So
I'm sorry to hear that. We wish him all the best, and same as Raiders walking off on his own volition, so that's good to see. He looks to be nodding his head, smiling to his teammates.
Recognizing that was just a good hit there, for sure.
So unfortunately, what went missed at the beginning of that last play is that an ill-advised beat from Alo from Rutgers turned the Bludgers back over to UTSA, so now they have control as Rutgers brings it back up on offense.
Correct. Oh. Apparently, the snitch has a snitch beanie on. That's cool. It's highlight yellow.
It is very, very bright.
You'll see it here in a second when he goes out there. Hopefully he keeps it on.
Someone told Rutgers the best way to beat a zone is to pass around, and that's what they do.
Who would have thought? Bradley Himes getting aggressive on those throwbacks there, trying to plow his way through this Rutgers defense. Their zone has been pretty tight here today. Let's see. Yep, they're going to stick with the keeper up top instead of the keeper on the hoops here. And Blackwood doing a good job in extending that arm out while staying on Broom to make sure that make sure the keeper can't reach and swipe the ball out.
Ing is now respecting Hines. Ing was a little outside the keeper zone. Now he sees Hines there, and he's like, I see you. I see you.
Bradley Himes is a shot taken. I would call that poor shot selection, but.
I mean, the middle hoop was open. I don't hate it.
Technically, they're all open at all times, right, Dwyer? You know what I mean?
Technically, yes. However, it is just not falling for them today.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them hit a single mid-range shot.
Oh, man, that looked like – I heard it skip something. It must have been the bludger itself. Bradley's trying to argue that he should have got a beat. And that definitely affected play if they do call it for playing through a beat.
17:36 is game time. 17:36.
And it looks like no goal there.
Game time 17:36. 36. Good read though. You read the play.
And we're creeping closer and closer towards that key time here, Matt. Almost the 20-minute mark, 20-minute intermission. We'll see if, like so many other teams, the fortunes for the UTSA Roadrunners change when the snitch goes out there. It's as many people will say who've been playing long enough, snitch on pitch is a whole different game.
It truly, truly is, and we can talk about that at intermission about what these two teams are going to do. But in the meantime, we've got a little time left. Rutgers attempting to maintain budget control. Hines blowing it up in the center. Big cluster there. And Blackwood, shooter's got to shoot. Finally hits that mid-range shot.
And Bradley, although he did get that beat off, it looks like there will be two bludgers in the first half, in the front half of the field for Rutgers to pick up. If you did not see it on the camera, Bradley intentionally went in and threw it as hard as he possibly could because he wanted to jar the ball loose from the beater who was standing on top of the hoops, and that's exactly what he got, and it opened up a lane for UTSA to be able to run through.
You often don't tell your beaters throw real hard, but in those specific instances, you say throw real hard.
If your point and objective is to get the balls to scatter to different places, to create chaos, if you will, you always do it. And Bradley misses big. That's net contact coming up here. So even if Rutgers doesn't score, yeah, and they will. Bradley missed. Bradley Himes was way off of his beat there. He was trying to take aim at the chaser who caught the ball behind the hoops, which is a typical assignment for a beater who's standing on top of the hoops there. He throws it. It goes about 5 feet over his head. That's tough. Turn and throw is one of the key skills that every beater has to work on a consistent basis. It's like a jump shot or a three-point shot for a shooter.
Absolutely. And it looks like that is Ehi Ise Zobor.
And he was down after taking that net contact from Jay Stewart. He held on to it for a while there too, so I'm no surprise. Glad that he's okay and able to walk off the field. We love to see that.
Yeah, he seems to be okay. He's smiling. Rutgers,
Hopefully it didn't pull anything.
Yeah, you hope so. You hope so. But he was able to get that pass out to Ng, who finished it through the top hoop there. So that's another goal for Rutgers as we head into the final minute of this part of the game.
He's laughing it off. Blackwood driving down here. Bradley Himes slowly trickling behind him there. Let's see what Bradley does. Blackwood sidesteps. Got an easy goal here coming. There he goes.
Barely touched. 19 minutes! I think that was a very weird missed defense by Carey there. Just kind of, he wanted to square up to Blackwood and then just blazed right by him.
Right, yeah, and the problem is with that, especially when you know you got a guy like Blackwood who's got agility and speed on his side. He ran towards him initially without chopping his feet and dropping down to get in a tackling position, and Blackwood caught him while he was striding forward. Blackwood going for the turnover. He forces it, and this is a free run.
There you go, a little stutter step, get that goal. Cole had to make a decision, just too slow.
Looks like control goes back to Rutgers still on that play as the bludger's rolling towards out of bounds there.
Nope, UTSA has bludger control.
Oh, wow. Okay, I thought that third bludger I saw fly back was the second bludger UTSA had.
And you can hear the score table next to us, I'm almost certain, because they are very loud.
They're about to press. Yep.
So now at last possession, Rutgers has last possession. They got to try and get bludger control here if they want it for snitch on pitch.
And you see that they're going with the typical Arkansas-Baylor version of zone. Arkansas's version utilized a keeper at the top as the key defender because the keeper is unbeatable with inside the keeper zone, and now Rutgers countering with the typical player screens. They're shoving players off of the hoops to open up shooting angles in lanes. Christian Cortez does have contact. He should be able to keep his arm there as they're getting ready to call this card. But Christian Cortez initially engaged the shooting arm of number 35 for Rutgers, and he should be able to put it back.
Unfortunately, UTSA had knocked down the hoop, so that might be what the stoppage is for here.
I will say, if you were going to make an argument, the fact that the Rutgers players were pushing over, like we're trying to shove chasers off of the hoops, may be a legitimate argument for why the hoop fell over, and it can't be called default, but it will be. Oh, they're calling it on Rutgers. Yeah. So Rutgers illegally engaged one of the hoop chasers from behind and shoved her off of the pitch, shoved her out of the position of the hoop from behind, as opposed to going from the side completely, because you can hit somebody in the shoulder blade and you can push somebody in the chest to a certain degree. But he came up from behind her to try and push her towards the center hoop, and that will be the 20-minute mark, it looks like, here as well.
Yep, because that was the last possession, it ended in a foul. It looks like Rutgers will have someone in the box to start snitch on pitch, which is unfortunate.
Especially with snitch on pitch starting 10 seconds inside of this field here. We'll see what the subs are going to look like, because right before they switched to the Baylor zone, 2-male beater for UTSA to finish off the 20-minute mark here. Let's see if they stick with that or if they try and make a couple of subs and rotate in. It's nice to have a team that has enough depth where you can trust multiple players on multiple lines to run different formations. So.
You can, yes, and I'm more concerned about the strategy here than I am about the personnel. I mean, the personnel makes the strategy, sure, but
right.
As we saw in the last game, Sam Houston against UNC did not do enough to help their seeker, even when they had bludgeon control
right.
for a decent portion of time with snitch on pitch. I'm interested to see if these teams can do a better job allocating their resources to give their seekers the looks that they need when they need them.
And it's hard, because if you thought the pre-20-minute mark was chaotic, it's about to get unhinged out here, especially since this game is so close between these two teams, and of course it is an elimination game, so everybody playing to move on to try and get that shiny thing at the end. They tell me if you win enough games, they give you a shiny medal at the end of this whole thing. Rutgers, if you were talking about momentum, you would say that UTSA looked pretty good towards the end of the 20-minute mark, and Rutgers for the first 10 minutes was really turning up a little bit. But UTSA just one magical snitch pull away from being in this one, being way ahead in this one. And Jay Stewart will be in the seeker box. So this is one of those situations where one of your best chasers just so happens to be your best seeker, and you guys are going to see, especially with the picture-in-picture, Jay Stewart is about the hype. He was one of the best. There are warning coming from the refs about making referee calls from the sideline, but Jay Stewart's one of the best in the game right now, one of the best college seekers in the game. Oh, and number 93, Rayner out here, who scored a couple of goals at chaser in the box to start this one off, like you said. And it looks like Ng, who is the beater for Rutgers, correct? Or is he the keeper?
Was the keeper.
Gotcha.
And the speediest boy out there, so.
I was just saying, the keeper, the beater that we saw earlier, who was jumping over Bradley Hans's beats, he might have some explosion in his legs to get that snitch too.
Actually, you know what? This might be a different Ng. They have two Ngs on the team. This is Jason Ng.
Okay.
I think the keeper was Byron Ng.
And
My apologies to
Control
to
maybe
both
getting
of them.
ready to flip here. Yep, Control has flipped to UTSA at the snitch on pitch location where the seeker is at, and Jay Stewart's getting pretty close early on here. He's got the double swipes going. Waiting for the 10-second call to start here, but I guess the Rutgers keeper does not have possession of the ball with the scrum. Are they about to break this one up?
Yep, so that'll be a 10-second
Yep.
jump, well, not a jump ball. The symbol is jump ball, but
Yeah.
it's not a jump ball. It's
It's a
just
turnover,
a stand-up.
yeah.
It's a turnover.
And it's a new rule that was utilized, and I actually think it's really, I think it's pretty smart, because back in the day, Dwyer's seen this a billion one times, when it's snitch on pitch and the chasers want to completely eliminate the quaffle game so the beaters can focus on the seekers and the snitch, you dogpile in your own territory, and if you're smart enough, you can work your way almost out of bounds. You can work your way further and deeper into your own territory as people are scrumming for the ball. But now there's a 10-second call. After 10 seconds, it turns over to the keeper in the keeper zone at that time. So.
And a much-needed rule change, in my
Exactly.
opinion. I have, I remember one specific regionals a couple years ago where I was a referee, and they dogpiled for 5 minutes, and it was the most boring gameplay you've ever seen.
Ng just pulled for Rutgers, and this is the worst. He just pulled for the worst reasoning possible. Jay Stewart was distracting the snitch. He forced the snitch to turn 180 degrees. He protected himself from Jay Stewart, but presented himself to Ng, and Ng just yanked it.
Oof, you hate to
Yeah.
see it happen. Ing seems pretty thrilled. We'll see if this one stands.
Yeah, he didn't even have to die for that one. That was a classic distracted stitch. And Rutgers has got much needed points here.
Rutgers sideline really thrilled by that. Sam Houston looking a little more dejected.
And UTSA is going to have Jay Stewart probably sub back in immediately at the chaser position. As Ing celebrates on the sideline, much deserved.
And I mean, UTSA at this point, they're going to need Stewart out there. Stewart's going to have to fire on all
he's
cylinders.
changing his headband, and he's got to come out immediately. Blackwood's about to come in, I'm sure, as well. He's been resting all the snitch on pitch, so.
So that's Kari, who I mistakenly was saying Carey earlier, but that is Kari who came up. And mid-range shot no good. That'll be a turnover back to UTSA.
120
cold out here.
The set score is 160. It is 125 to 80. Big hole that UTSA's got to dig their way out of here. They need 8 goals to be able to win this one. Christian Cortez is out there. And an errant catch. They're trying to dogpile here, and there's no keeper. Oh, the keeper just slid in there, so we'll see how long this count lasts. And
all
this
right,
actually could help.
Fagan at least hustles over.
And as the dogpile is happening, that's what I thought was going to happen. They're using it to get subs on defense, which is ill-advised 99% of the time. But if a team is that far back, you can get subs in. So here they come. Blackwood's out here. Jay Stewart's back out here. And they've got to put in a lot better work than they did the first half of this game. Like you said, a lot of missed mid-range shots. It's time to start joking around with those and turn those into dunks.
That's for sure. Rutgers has the size to do it. UTSA still with bludger control on this one. They've got that going for them. Hoop zone defense.
Real close there, passing that one all the way back. He is beat. That's a missed shot, but the bludger is there to protect it. Jay Stewart trying to scoop it up. Blackwood is beat. Jay Stewart deflects to, oh, they called it. They called him beat here, and it's a throw way over the hoop. I don't know what the idea with that was from Ing. Maybe he thought he saw one of his teammates.
You know what? The UTSA beaters, they were right there at the center of the pitch,
right.
and bludgers were flying everywhere. I think he was just hoping to limit a potential turnover at midfield to fast break goal, which at this point,
correct.
You're playing smart. You're limiting your possessions. You don't want them to start getting momentum. You need to pick your battles here.
Big brain play. That's why he did it, and I didn't.
Big brain play.
Big brain play.
Big brain play.
His brain
Huck it across the field.
Jay Stewart blocks one bludger. He gets inside, and he's got it. Okay, he can't get the third one. He gets 2 in a row, but they do not call him beat, so maybe he wasn't. And there's back contact on that tackle if he wasn't beat.
I don't know how many times Fagan's got to beat him on that play.
Nice slow down of the attack here. Let's see if Blackwood can get a stop. And nice deflection. Actually,
that's a goaltend.
That's
it's a Stewart goaltended. Oh, the worst foul. Oh.
It was look, to his credit, that was going in no matter what. So
it was going in.
Yeah. Can't give him the satisfaction of seeing it go through the hoop.
I don't know. I would take more mental damage from the goaltend personally. Rutgers with all the momentum right now.
Blackwood's got it here, and with that one, 135 is 135 is what Rutgers have, and they're trying to get to 160. So they're just around the corner here, and UTSA is still struggling to get some sink in their offense here because of the tight quarters of the 2-2 zone of Rutgers. UTSA finally using their timeout here. This one's going to help a lot of people who are going to play because let's be real, a lot of the guys who are out there on the field, they're about to play every single second of this next part here.
Absolutely.
So they need as much rest as they can, and they got to figure this one out.
What strategy adjustment are you making right now if you're UTSA?
Man, it's so the compressed 2-2 zone that a lot of people are going to be running here in Nationals because they have the ability, they have the personnel who can run it efficiently. I would like to see the chasers, every time their beaters make space, take that space. I'm not seeing them take as much space as I would like. I'm seeing tackle breaks. I really am. I want to see more urgency in terms of running straight lines, not running around, not trying to pass behind the hoops or anything like that. It's got to get real simple with this. Rutgers has not shown that they're willing to go out there and lay the big hits that are going to stop you from being able to score. UTSA has. Defensively, man, it's tough because they're utilizing the the setup of their defense is correct in the sense that if it goes behind the hoops, that's the beater's responsibility. But we're seeing a lot of chasers, a lot of keepers get really close to the hoops initially and then be able to make that pass over the top behind the hoops. We need more pressure. We need people playing higher up the field because it increases the margin of error for the beaters and it gives the chasers a chance to go out there and possibly make a play.
Which is interesting that you say that because UTSA was playing a more spread out defense earlier in the game. They were meeting them closer to midfield. They were creating more space in the middle. Their beaters were having a lot more freedom of movement in the middle there right around the keeper zone. And now we've seen them compress into this very flat, 3 hoops defense. Right. And it hasn't worked out for them.
Yeah, and it's tough because sometimes the inefficiency on offense affects how you call the defense that you're going to run. And I think those are two separate ideas, but because this is a continuous game, what you do on offense in terms of like missing the shots affects how well you can play on defense. And I think that maybe that's what's getting the UTSA a little bit here. Craig Garrison is a smart man, and he's got Luke Langone, who are two of the best players in the history of UTSA's Quidditch program ever. So they'll figure it out, and they've got a lot of talented guys. Bradley Himes is going to come out, so his time is up here on the pitch. Tejero's back in it. He's really aggressive. Let's see what he can do. I like his mentality. He plays beater like a chaser does.
Ooh.
And this is about to be oh my gosh.
Blocked at the hoops by Issei Zobor.
Blocked on both ends here. Not seeing, and once again, Jay Stewart tried to go for the little pump fake there. It just wasn't enough because you don't need to pump fake when you know your teammates are covering all the hoops. If you're on defense, your teammates covering one hoop, your teammates covering that one. It doesn't matter if they pump fake. That's got to be a dunk, even if you risk the chance of getting beat. So.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm thinking about that play. Blackwood made the harder choice there. He had Sousa on that medium hoop wide open, and he decided to go over the top to Stewart, which was a much riskier play.
And Ng under duress over there at the beater position, way off pitch. Nice beat on the quaffle, and Blackwood trying to scoop this one up. He goes for the tackle, and number 7 is down. There's multiple beaters down on the pitch. Everyone's getting tackled. See, this is what I'm talking about. UTSA getting in people's faces. This is what I like to see. And now here they come on offense.
Oh, he misses the alley-oop.
But they got the rebound because they took the shot from behind.
Like if I'm Stewart, land your feet, plant your feet, just chest past that. Yes. You don't need to overhand throw, legs in the air. It was a beautiful feed.
And one thing to point out, that's a play that UTSA has run all year. And just to exemplify what you're talking about in terms of the shot, that missing was strange for me to see as a guy who's seen them play in the Southwest region. Still waiting here. Both the beaters are down. Rutgers got a tackle off. Great effort, and they're going to call that one no good. Oof. Rutgers is unstoppable at these hoops, man.
And that was a great play, and that's exactly the play that I mentioned in the last one.
Right.
I wonder if they heard me from the sideline. But Sousa was right there on that medium hoop. I think Blackwood just needs to come in. And
UTSA will get their second card for unsporting conduct towards an official today.
I think Sousa was upset that
they called that one no good. Yeah, because the hoop did turn while she was taking the shot. That's tough. That is. How many times can we say that about the shots that UTSA is taking? It's just credit to Rutgers, man.
UTSA with no blood.
Oh, nice! Back. They swiped the ball. They're on the way up. Great job. Are they calling the dive? Oh man, that's tough. Especially. Oh wait, no. Somebody's hurt.
No, I think everyone's right, okay. Yeah. They're conversing with the assistant referee on that side.
Would you call that a dive? So Rayer got the ball stripped out of his hand on the way up as he was trying to rotate the ball around for the dunk. He dives on the ground. Blackwood has the ball already, and he dives into him. I don't think that qualifies for the rules. Because he doesn't slide into a pass.
I would have to take another. I would have to have seen it more directly.
Oh, yeah. They're saying that he grabbed his neck when he was on the ground. Okay.
So now that's 2 Quaffle players in the box, which is exactly what you don't want when your opponent is just a few goals away from winning it all.
I will say, for as many people who think that this type of situation makes it go horribly wrong for a lot of offenses, people actually hyper-focus during these type of moments when they only have 2 pass options. And I've seen multiple teams come with goals with players on. And look, like I said, a stop there and trying to get Ndoyo again, and Jay Stewart's off his broom.
And
They're going to call him off broom on the goal.
No, he's beat before. Issei Zobor, no good.
They're retroactively telling Jay Stewart as he was in pursuit of Nobor, he was off broom, and they're making him tag back in. So now we're about to see really funny. So you talk about the give and go all the time. Now that's the only option. So
it truly is.
Like literally, kids, if you're watching at home, in theory, you're supposed to have your other chaser. And so for some reason, she's way back here. Now they're going to press up on Stewart. If nobody runs and protects him, he missed there. And now Stewart's got one-on-one. He gets beat on the quad.
Stewart does not want to pay attention to the beats today. Like, that was pretty darn blatant.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I get those borderline ones, but that was blatant.
And they will get one chaser back. Stewart blocked that one, and it was caught. Sousa, oh my goodness, out of the box, tagged back in, and almost instantaneously dove on the loose quaffle. That's the kind you'd like to see that hustle. You'd like to see that.
And now, did I just see that correctly? Did they just kill a double power play without taking a goal?
Correct.
That's incredible. Props to the UTSA defense for that one, and quite frankly, some sloppy offense from Rutgers.
Yeah, and Rutgers is, Rutgers, I think, see, this is the part when you have two chasers, you're going up against two chasers, you get lulled into the identity of like, oh, there's only two people who can tackle me. I can kind of like float passes here or there. I don't really have to dunk when I have to go into the hoops or whatever. There's no way that the two people who are defending are going to be able to get there in enough time, and we saw it there. At the penalty initially when they restarted play, Jay Stewart immediately went for the ball, and Rayner hadn't even started stroking down on his dunk. Oh, that's a
straight red for Cortez, or is Cortez just out there arguing it? Was Cortez on the field?
Sosa gets called
that's Sousa's, and that's a straight red. She's got to leave the field. Illegal
charge.
Hold on,
Craig's calling something. And it looks like Craig Garrison has gone over to the bench. And he's saying that he's gonna protest it. Oh man, there's a lot of Sam Houston alum that are really pumped up about Sam Houston being able to win another title, especially after a day one that I think they even themselves say they were disappointed with. We got another situation here. This could be cutting down the goals needed to win for Rutgers to 2. Bradley Himes has got an angle on it. There's a chaser who's behind. Let's see what happens here as they restart play.
Surrounded by 3 defenders, as Toby March heads back out on the field to resume play.
Jay Stewart behind.
And they put it through.
Yep. Absolutely destroying the hoop. And we got an injury. Yeah, she fell down, and I think what happened was she got hit on the follow-through for that goal. And so we might have another stoppage here.
And it looks like they're going to throw in Havens at chaser, who has been playing beater overall because one chaser was red carded out of the game. One chaser is serving the penalty time for that. And now one chaser is walking off the pitch.
Yeah,
so
she definitely got hit in the
head.
She got hit in the head on the follow-through for that goal. Hopefully we don't have a concussion situation, but luckily, if there is one, the trainers have been on point today. I would love to see just a list of injuries that have been reported to the trainers today, or just or the last 2 days. That's always something I've wanted in Quidditch. That's a missed beat and an open opportunity. Blackwood takes contact to the neck. There will not be a call, but there will be a goal. UTSA down big in this one. Now they need 15 more goals to get back into this one. Set scores 160.
Rutgers maintaining bludger control here. Well, 2 bludgers on the ground. Himes the only free bludger. Rutgers now has it. They're going to drive it in. And I believe that's number 19, Curaz.
Rutgers is now on game point offensively. If they can get this stop, UTSA is down. They need 160 to win this one. They have 90 in this one. So the math at home, you get 7 more goals to win, not 15, like I said. Math is hard.
Himes loses the bludger battle there, has to drive back.
Blackwood is about to get, almost got some help there for the back contact. Another goal. He gets taken down. Oh, no.
And it looks like Blackwood is down after that hard shot and contact.
Dude, I hope that's not. Yeah.
All right,
Blackwood's down, and we need to focus on something else. Let's read some scores.
You can take another look at our scores.
Yeah.
As, Blackwood is
He's up.
getting
Yeah,
up to his feet, slowly but surely. We can look at the club bracket for the play-in. The Vipers defeated Philly Freedom 160 to 115.
By the way, saw that. So we were playing on the pitch behind them. Philly tackled the Vipers. They were on the ground. Whoever the chaser was reaches out and almost majestically just throws it through the little hoop, and the whole team dog piles in center pitch, and it reminded you of why you love this sport so much.
That's good to hear. QC Dallas taking on Ann Arbor Army Ants, defeating them 150 to 50. Ann Arbor very short-staffed. Anteaters Forever defeating Orlando 145 to 80, and Seattle falling to TCQC, that's Twin Cities, 125 to 60. Those are all the play-in scores. We've also got a couple here further into the bracket. Bosnia defeated the Vipers after their play-in game 170 to 30. Lost Boys defeat Salt Lake 130 to 75, a little bit closer. QC Dallas falls to the Warriors 240 to 105. That's all the bracket scores we have for you right now, as Blackwood walking off the field under his own power.
Had it scared there for a second, man.
Dejected.
He is gonna walk off with a slight limp there. Hopefully he will be at 100% here.
And keep in mind that there is still a chaser in the box for UTSA off that red card.
And they have scored 2 goals down the chaser. Yeah, and as this possession comes to an end, offensive possession comes to an end, Rutgers is on game point, Matt. 160 to win, and they're at 150, and it's 150 to 100 here.
So what do you do here? You set it up or you gun it?
Rutgers is definitely going to gun this one. I will say Tahara has proven once again that he can make magic happen with the level of aggression that is in that young man's body when it comes to playing the beater position. They've got Bradley Himes out there. See, they're already stepping up to try and even stop the wing chasers.
Yeah, you know what?
There.
Himes my field of view. They got budget control back there, so I think this is a smart move to set it up for RU.
Bradley's going to be solo in the middle of the pitch there, and Tahara's going to be roaming behind to take out any chaser that gets it. So he's running towards that wing chaser.
Weird bouncer pass to Kari.
Chaser back into the play, and now UTSA is back at 100%. Bradley has jumped on top of the. Yeah, Bradley's about to get called for back contact. Ing got the ball, and then Bradley jumped on him. He didn't jump on him; he fell on him there. He tried to be a little slick about it, but it was not slick at all. It was like him going straight down, and Ing was turtling the bludgeon.
This refereeing team has been very good, and I think they've been very eagle-eyed in spotting all of these little mishaps.
And I think Bradley's trying to make the argument he had contact initiated with Ing's arm, and that's why he went down, because he pulled him. But that's not going to fly.
Yeah, just because you got contact with the arm, you need to be fully in front of their 180-degree plane to the front of their body in order to bring them down.
And it looks like Ing may have gotten his ankle rolled in that play, so he may need a sub here.
So referees are discussing this one as well, and these last couple goals have really got drawn out. Really, since that snitch was caught, I feel like we haven't had a solid minute of play. So I believe that is Jason Ing in a beater there.
And Jason was
Byron Ing is in a keeper.
Yeah. Byron Ing was the young man who caught earlier on the snitch. Bradley is going to go to the box for illegal contact,
and this is
he's not happy about that.
This is the nail in the coffin. Himes in the box when you're down with goal to go, down a beater. That's the end of it.
And Jay Stewart's probably going to be the only person that's going to have a shot at making a play here. Tahara's going to have the ball. He's going to pick it up. Ing is behind the chaser, so he's going to tap beat all of them out. But I will say the chasers and the keepers are a little far off in that situation.
They are, but if I'm Fagan, I'm making a beeline to that other beater.
Tahara's going to take the beat, go for the quaffle to try and get a last-second play.
And
once again, Once again, the one person we said had a chance to make a play, and guess what that is? That is
I don't think Kari was back on the ground.
yeah,
I think this,
that is a red.
I think this might be a red.
Oh, my gosh.
Kari
that
was
is a
up in
red
the air
for
with
reckless.
that. It was a
yeah.
high pass. Kari went up for it, and
That's defenseless
he
receiver.
seems to be okay. Stewart is.
That's defenseless receiver, and it is a straight red for Jay Stewart. So
That is two straight reds in this game for UTSA. That is astounding. You rarely see that.
And to Jay Stewart's credit, he probably was. Jay Stewart's mentality on that play, it's not like he meant any harm by it. He had already probably made up his mind. He's like, the ball goes out of his hand, just keep running towards it, and whoever's there, you hit him. He wasn't even paying attention to the positioning of the receiver.
But I will argue, you know what? Even though you've made that decision, I understand that
Yep.
you're down. I understand that it's goal to go. These rules are here for a reason.
Oh, no,
This is for player safety.
yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
care if you lose your game. If you knock someone on the
Yeah.
ground and you hurt them, that is unacceptable.
I'm just saying, in terms of the
I'm
malicious.
not
no,
saying
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying that that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
certainly not. I'm saying the rule exists for
And
a reason.
I agree the rule should exist because as a basketball player, when you undercut someone, you endanger them drastically because you hit somebody in the thigh when they jump up in the air and they can land on their head. That 100% can happen.
This field isn't too much softer than a basketball court.
The grass looks beautiful, though. I think
All right,
it
and
is.
I think
They're going to send
Garrison
another
gets a
person
blue
into
card.
the box because Garrison can't be sent to the box. He has to send a chaser in, which is
That's
why
right.
Rodriguez is in there.
No, Rodriguez is.
The substitute for Jay Stewart. So there has to be
Yes.
another player on the field has to come off.
Yes, so UTSA is about to have, if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm understanding all this correctly, 3 players in the box.
3 players.
With goal to go.
And Bradley Himes definitely
and
just
then
cursed at the
Himes
ref,
get
and he's
a,
going to get straight red.
Hey,
They're
guess
going-
what? You should not.
Oh, he
should not curse
he's
at
out
the
of it
ref.
already. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that UTSA is out of this one, man. Mentally right now, and it's disappointing because they've had such a fantastic season for them to go out like this.
Toby, we appreciate you, bud.
This is just poor sportsmanship from UTSA at this point. I understand
And
being
honestly,
disappointed losing at nationals, but this is unacceptable behavior. Truly, yelling at the referee, telling them how you feel about the reffing, using multiple expletives. This is embarrassing for the program, quite frankly.
It's what we talk about this all the time, Dwight. Like a lot of people have worked really hard to get here, and I understand you should never do anything disrespectful to people in terms of who are really they're directing all of this. And the reason like 90% of these cards are happening about conversation, like we've had multiple players get carded for conversation with the ref, right? It's all directed at the refs. It's not anything that's going towards Rutgers. They're not playing to hurt anyone. It's just the anger at the officiating in this situation. And once again, like you as a player have to maintain your composure. I know it's hard out there, especially when every time the whistle gets blown, it's going against you and it's going on you. You can't let them pull you out of the game. And right now, UTSA has completely let themselves get pulled out of this game. Like their best players are all on the sidelines right now for a multitude of reasons. And man, it's tough to see them go out like this. Like I said before, they've worked really hard to get here, but the fact of the matter is you got to maintain respect for the players on the other team, the officials as well.
Absolutely, and you know what? This erases anything that people are going to talk about in this game. People are going to look back at this game, they're going to watch this video, they're going to see the score line, they're going to look at the play, they're going to say, hey, you know, UTSA was putting up a pretty good fight. But the thing that's going to get talked about is how they treated the referees and how they reacted to the calls that were not in their favor. And you know what? Quite frankly, it's unacceptable in this sport. And I hope that they take a long, hard look at their program and how they think to interact with referees.
Toby just flashed a red card at the crowd.
Perhaps the crowd was.
Everybody's carded.
I'm not quite sure. Perhaps he was just announcing to the crowd what happened.
And a tackle behind, and once again, absolutely insane effort from UTSA. That
like
chaser is down, and there's Tahara's fighting for a ball.
It's just utter chaos out here as Rutgers is looking for that final goal.
Wow.
Ing finally puts it through after multiple players were down. Brooms are flying both in elation and absolute disgust from the UTSA side.
And when this handshake line comes through, I expect UTSA to do what they've been taught to do. They've not been taught to act this way. They're not representing themselves very well right now, and they are better than what we've seen out here. I know this is a lot of people's first and maybe even only chance to see UTSA. This game does not define these players. Yes, they are acting poorly today. Yes, they made a lot of poor decisions on this field in this moment today because of officiating or how they felt about the officiating. I just want to make that clear. This is not who these guys are. This is a competitive game. What they've done here is unacceptable. But
I hope that they can learn from it and you come back next season better and more well-disciplined.
Because, let's be honest, Matt. A lot of these penalties that we saw that played them out of the game were because of things that had nothing to do with actual physical play on the field. And I think that you got to, when you're a player, you got to reckon with that. You got to reckon that you talked your way out of a potential to win this game. And maybe UTSA will do that. And only one way to find this is a huge turning point for UTSA, a team that has been a front runner in the Southwest the entirety of this season, man.
Absolutely. So with that final goal called, that'll be the end of it for Rutgers UTSA.
Rutgers, fantastic defense here, man. Fantastic. Top to bottom, great effort on their part, sticking with it, and yeah.
So keep it locked here live for the rest of live coverage here and on the USQ2 channel on Twitch for more pool play or bracket play in the collegiate and club divisions. We will see you here again soon.